Traveling with your dog sounds like the ultimate dream, doesn't it? The thought of road trips with your furry best friend, exploring new places together, and creating memories that last a lifetime is something many dog owners aspire to. Social media is filled with these idyllic images, dogs hanging their heads out of car windows with the wind blowing through their fur, walking happily on sandy beaches, or snuggling up in a cozy cabin by the fire. But here's the thing. While those moments can be amazing, there's another side to traveling with dogs that rarely makes it to Instagram. Today, we're going to talk about the challenges, the struggles, and the dark side of dog travel that no one really tells you about. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer picture of what it really means to bring your dog along on your adventures. So stick around because this might just save you a lot of stress and money. Let's start with something that catches most people off guard: the costs. We all know traveling isn't cheap, but when you add a dog to the mix, expenses can skyrocket. First, there's the accommodation issue. Sure, there are plenty of pet-friendly hotels and Airbnbs out there, but did you know many of them charge extra fees for pets? Some hotels will tack on an additional $20 to $50 per night for your furry companion. And don't forget cleaning fees, which can be as high as $100 or more. Then, there's transportation. If you're flying, most airlines charge a hefty fee to bring your dog. On average, it's $100 to $200 per flight, and that's just for small dogs who can fit under the seat. Larger dogs? They'll likely need to be transported as cargo, which is not only more expensive, but also more stressful for you and your dog. Even road trips aren't entirely free. Long drives mean more gas, and you'll probably need to make frequent stops for dog-friendly meals or to find rest areas. Plus, if your car isn't already set up for pet travel, you might need to invest in a sturdy crate, a car seat cover, or safety restraints. These costs can add up quickly, and before you know it, your budget-friendly getaway isn't so budget-friendly anymore. And here's the kicker: a lot of these expenses aren't optional. Skipping on proper travel gear or safe accommodations could put your dog at risk, which brings us to the next point. Traveling with dogs is not as simple as packing a bag and hitting the road. There's a lot of planning involved, and trust me, it can get overwhelming fast. You can't just pick any destination and assume your dog will be welcome. Researching dog-friendly hotels, restaurants, and activities becomes a must. Let's say you're planning a hike in a national park. Did you know many national parks don't allow dogs on trails? Imagine driving hours to a beautiful location only to find out your dog isn't allowed to join you. Even in places that are dog-friendly, there might be restrictions like needing to keep your dog on a leash at all times or avoiding certain areas altogether. Then, there's the challenge of transportation. If you're flying, you'll need to check your airline's specific rules for pets. Does your dog need a health certificate? What size carrier do they require? Is the airline known for handling pets carefully? These are all things you'll need to figure out long before your trip. And let's not forget about meals. You can't just pull up to any restaurant and expect them to let your dog sit at the table with you. Finding pet-friendly dining options takes extra time and effort. Some people end up eating fast food in their car just to avoid the hassle. And honestly, that's not the glamorous travel experience anyone hopes for. All of this planning can feel exhausting, and it takes some of the spontaneity out of traveling. You can't just go with the flow because you're constantly thinking about your dog's needs and limitations. When it comes to traveling with your dog, preparing for their health and safety is one of the most important steps. Before hitting the road or boarding a plane, make sure your dog is up to date on all vaccinations. Vaccines like rabies, distemper, and parvovirus are often required by law or by specific travel destinations. Some places, especially if you're traveling internationally, might also require additional vaccines, such as for leptospirosis or kennel cough. It's a good idea to check the requirements of your destination well in advance, so you have enough time to get everything sorted. Flea and tick prevention is another crucial aspect of travel health. Different regions might expose your dog to pests they aren't used to at home, so keeping them protected is a must. Talk to your vet about the best flea and tick preventatives for your dog's needs. Whether it's a chewable tablet, a topical treatment, or a collar, make sure you start it before your trip. Ticks in particular can carry diseases like Lyme disease, which can seriously harm your dog, so prevention is always better than cure. If you're flying or crossing state or country borders, you'll likely need a health certificate for your dog. This is a document signed by your veterinarian that confirms your dog is healthy and fit to travel. For international travel, some countries also require additional testing, microchipping, or even quarantine periods before your dog is allowed entry. Health certificates are usually only valid for a short time, often 10 days, so timing your vet visit is essential. We all want to believe that our dogs are just as excited about traveling as we are. But here's the reality. Not all dogs enjoy traveling. In fact, for some dogs, it can be downright stressful. Long car rides can cause anxiety, especially if your dog isn't used to being in a vehicle for extended periods. Some dogs even get motion sickness, which can turn a fun road trip into a messy, uncomfortable experience for everyone involved. Airports can be even worse. The loud noises, crowds, and unfamiliar surroundings can be overwhelming for your pup. Even when you arrive at your destination, the challenges don't stop. Unfamiliar environments can make dogs nervous. They might bark more than usual, have accidents indoors, or even resort to destructive behavior. If your dog struggles with separation anxiety, leaving them alone in a hotel room while you go out to dinner can lead to more stress for both of you. You'll be worried about them, and they'll be wondering why they're in a strange place without you. It's also important to think about your dog's routine. Dogs thrive on consistency. They're creatures of habit. Traveling often means disrupting their feeding schedule, bathroom breaks, and exercise routine, which can leave them feeling unsettled. This is the part no one likes to think about, but it's crucial. Traveling with your dog comes with risks, and it's better to be prepared than caught off guard. For starters, what if your dog gets sick or injured during the trip? Imagine your dog eating something toxic on a hike or stepping on sharp rocks at the beach. Do you know where the nearest emergency vet is? Are you prepared to handle the costs of an unexpected medical bill? Weather is another factor to consider. Traveling during the summer, dogs can easily overheat in a parked car or during outdoor activities. Winter trips can be just as dangerous if your dog isn't equipped to handle cold temperatures. Then, there's the risk of losing your dog. Unfamiliar environments increase the chances of your dog slipping out of their collar or escaping from an open door. It's every dog owner's worst nightmare, and unfortunately, it happens more often than you'd think. To minimize these risks, it's important to take precautions. Invest in a GPS tracker for your dog's collar, bring a pet first aid kit, and always keep your dog on a leash in unfamiliar places. But even with all the preparation in the world, accidents can still happen, and it's something every dog owner needs to be aware of. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: social media. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are filled with influencers who make traveling with their dogs look effortless and glamorous. They post pictures of their perfectly behaved pups sitting by campfires or posing in front of iconic landmarks, and it's easy to feel like you're missing out if you're not doing the same. But here's the thing. What you don't see are the messy parts. The accidents in the hotel room, the sleepless nights with a restless dog, or the stress of trying to find a dog-friendly restaurant when you're starving and exhausted. It's okay to admit that traveling with your dog isn't always fun. It doesn't mean you love your dog any less. It just means you're being realistic about their needs and your own. An alternative is to leave your dog with a trusted pet sitter or at a boarding facility while you're away. Leaving your dog with a pet sitter offers a more stable and familiar experience for your pup. A sitter can care for your dog in their own home, keeping their routine intact. This option is especially good for dogs who get anxious in new environments or struggle with change. Your dog can enjoy their usual walks, feeding schedule, and sleeping in their favorite spot, all while being looked after by someone who understands their needs. However, finding the right sitter is crucial. You need someone reliable, experienced, and trustworthy, which may require research or recommendations from friends and family. Another alternative is a boarding facility. Boarding can be a great option for social dogs who enjoy being around other pets. Many modern boarding facilities offer fun activities like playtime, grooming, and even training sessions. However, some dogs may find boarding stressful. especially if they're not used to being in a kennel environment. The noise and unfamiliar surroundings can be overwhelming for sensitive dogs. Additionally, boarding can be expensive, especially if you choose a high-end facility with lots of amenities. After all this, you might be wondering, is traveling with your dog even worth it? The answer depends on you and your dog. For some people, the joy of having their dog by their side outweighs the challenges. For others, the stress and expense just aren't worth it. What's most important is that you're honest with yourself about your dog's personality and needs. Some dogs are natural adventurers who love exploring new places. Others are happiest in the comfort of their own home. If you do decide to travel with your dog, preparation is key. Research your destination thoroughly, pack everything your dog might need, and be ready to adjust your plans if things don't go as expected. And if you decide to leave your dog at home, that's okay too. Sometimes, the best gift you can give your dog is the comfort and stability of their routine. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer, just what works best for you and your furry friend. Thanks for sticking till the end as we explored the less glamorous side of traveling with dogs. What's been your biggest challenge when traveling with your pup? Share your stories in the comments below. We'll love to hear them. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more honest pet advice. Until next time, happy travels, whether they include your dog or not.